Edward has run his branch line for many years. However, there was a time, long before Edward, when it wasn't a branch line. It was a railway all of its own, called the Wellsworth and Sudbury. It was a humble line, situated by the coast. If you lived near the railway, you'd hear the sounds of two twin tank engines puffing up and down the line. They had 6 wheels, tall chimneys, square saddle tanks, and open-sided cabs. One was named Walter, and the other Winifred, though she much preferred Winnie. Walter, on the other hand, fancied his name just as it was. They scurried dutifully along the line with their wagons, always whistling to nearby folk. They were fond of each other, but like all siblings, were prone to bickering. One morning, the engines were greeted by Mr. Catherick, the manager. Beside him was a post with a red and white plank jutting out at the top. It loomed high above the little engines. "Is that a new weather vane, sir?" asked Winnie. "It looks grand." "It looks like an eyesore." "You're an eyesore." "This, my dear engines," Mr. Catherick announced, "is a signal. We'll soon be carrying passengers and must ensure proper coordination of your trains. It shall be stationed down the line, but first, a demonstration. Now, at the top is the signal's R, and it will show you how to proceed." "How? It can't talk like driver," Walter huffed to himself. "When the arm sticks out like this," Mr. Catherick continued, pointing up, "it means danger. You are to go no further." "Taking orders from a plank of wood. Huh!" "Shush!" Winnie scolded. "This is important." "We'll now show you what a caution signal looks like. Mr. Jones, if you'd please," Mr. Catherick called. Nothing happened. "Mr. Jones, if you'd please." "Sorry, sir," came a bumbling voice, and the arm fell slightly. "Excellent," Mr. Catherick smiled. "Finally, the signal for line clear. Mr. Jones," he called. Nothing happened. "Jones, you—" He stopped, clearing his throat. "This shall take but a moment," he smiled at the engines, before storming off towards his unseen comrade. "What a joke," Walter grumbled. "Why bother with all this?" "It's for the sake of our passengers," Winnie replied. "Ha!" Walter snorted. "Drivers kept me safe from the start. I'll put my faith in him." With that, Walter began daydreaming, unconcerned with what the line clear signal looked like. He was still quite unbothered next morning as he strolled along with his wagons. Silly thing, he muttered. "Imagine being ordered about by an overgrown matchstick. Wouldn't catch me adhering to..." Oh! "Something wrong, boy?" asked the driver, upon regaining his balance. "Something is wrong, because something is missing." The driver followed Walter's gaze. Indeed, there was a definite lack of something where there should have been a signal arm. "Where is that big red blemish?" Walter grumbled. "Perhaps it's down from maintenance," reasoned the driver. "Or perhaps it's not set up yet. In any case, I'm sure we're safe to..." "Oh, no! Walter interrupted. "I don't trust a thing about this horrid invention." "Walter, be reasonable. Mr. Catherick said the signal arm would show us when to go. But how can I know that if the arm has grown legs and gone for a walk?" The driver's attempts to reason with Walter quickly devolved into bickering. The firemen hadn't the energy to join in and began reorganizing coal in the bunker. They were so busy quarreling, they didn't realize they had company. "If you're quite done resting, my train is due." "I'm not resting," retorted Walter. "I'm being safe. There's no arm, so I'm not moving." "If you come ever so slightly forward, you'll find the arm is here, staring right at me." Cautiously, Walter drew level with the post. Above him was the signal arm, pointed straight at the ground. "Well, that's the silliest thing I've ever seen," he fumed. "How can it tell me to go if it's hiding?" "It's not hiding," Winnie retorted. "That means line clear." Well, how was I supposed to know that?" "If you'd been paying attention," came a voice, "you would have. It seems Mr. Jones's distraction rubbed off on you, Walter," he continued. "You may be resistant to change, but that's no excuse for ignorance. If you are to run on this railway, you must know how things work. Understood?" "Yes, sir," Walter sighed. "Sorry, sir." "I'll concede," continued Mr. Catherick, "that perhaps clearer signals are needed. I shall have to inquire. Now that you've been given the all clear, please make way for Winnie." "I'll put my faith in my driver, you said," she chuckled. "Perhaps your actions should support your words. I'd hate to see you left to your own devices." She backed away, chortling. Walter followed meekly, the wagon snickering behind him. He would certainly listen now, though he had to admit he didn't much like the sound of laughter at his expense. "My dear engines, it is a most exciting day," Mr. Catherick enthused one morning. Walter and Winnie glanced knowingly at each other. It seemed every day was exciting to their manager. "Thanks to a loan from the bank, our coaches have finally arrived. I expect you both to pull them properly. Is that understood?" he finished, staring at Walter. "Understood, sir," the tank engine grunted reluctantly. "Excelsior!" Mr. Catherick proclaimed. "Walter shall take the morning train. Winnie, the afternoon service is yours." "Mind you don't shake the passengers up too much," Winnie chuckled to her twin. "Otherwise, the coaches will be empty come my turn." Winnie took to the coaches like a duck to water. "That's the way, just right. That's the way, just right," she puffed happily. "Gentle, trick, trick, and fast, trot, trot. Gentle, trick, trick, and fast, trot, trot," the coaches sang. She kept to time, giving a whistle and a smile wherever she went. The passengers were thoroughly impressed. To no one's surprise, Walter's work was far from impressive. The coaches didn't sing, and time after time he lost his race against the hands of the clock. "I did not think a matter as simple as keeping to time would challenge you so, Walter," Mr. Catherick sighed. "It's not for lack of trying, sir. It's that—" "I don't want excuses," Mr. Catherick interrupted. "I want results. Effective today, Winnie shall be handling all passenger services. Perhaps Good's work will reacquaint you with the work ethic I expect of my engines." He spun on his heel and strode away. "Does he think that's a punishment?" Walter sniffed. "Good riddance, I say." Early next morning, Winnie was being ready for the first train. She was bubbling with pride and letting off great whooshes of steam. "Oh, you're revoltingly chipper for 6:30 in the morning," Walter yawned. "The early engine gets the train," Winnie retorted. "That sluggishness won't win you back the morning runs." "I'm not sluggish," Walter scowled. "I was only late because—" "No time for excuses," Winnie interrupted as her driver pulled the lever. "My passengers are waiting." Walter watched her go, chuckling. "I suppose she'll find out for herself." The journey began well. Winnie puffed steadily along, and the coaches followed smoothly. The passengers talked of what a fine railway it was, which only inflated Winnie's sense of importance. At the first station, she waited for more passengers to board. "Is it time to leave yet?" she quizzed. "Not if you haven't heard the guard's whistle," chuckled her driver. "Be patient." Neither Winnie nor the driver could have known that Mr. Jones, now acting as guard, had left the coach and gone to a nearby house. The minutes ticked past, and Winnie heard the other passengers starting to grumble. "Right," she decided. "If I wait any longer, I'll be worse than Walter." With a hiss and a whistle, she started away. "Whoa, Winnie! Steady!" cried her driver. Off we go," she puffed noisily. So noisily, in fact, that she didn't hear a shout from up the lane. Winnie arrived at the end of the line in good time. To her surprise, Mr. Catherick stepped out from the coaches. "A most pleasant journey, Winnie. I'm right on time to make our next payment for the coaches you pull so well." Winnie blushed a deep scarlet and watched her manager hurry off to the bank. He returned quite suddenly. "Sir's just as quick as I am," she thought smugly. Mr. Catherick wasn't smiling. "It's rather difficult to make a payment when Mr. Buxton isn't at his bank." "Bother! A waste of a perfectly good morning." "Fear not, sir," Winnie smiled. "I'll get you back down the line as soon as I can." The smile returned to Mr. Catherick's face as he boarded the coaches once more. Winnie hurried off, beaming with pride. She was certain nothing could spoil her day. However, her certainty was dashed as she neared the first station. Mr. Catherick burst from the coach. "Mr. Jones? Mr. Buxton?"
"Catherick,"
Mr. Buxton grumbled.
"is this how you repay me? Jones came to fetch me, as he always does, but this miserable engine of yours left before I could even finish shaving."
"I'm truly sorry, Mr. Buxton," Mr. Catherick stammered. "We certainly wouldn't want to offend you, especially after your generosity." "Pardon me, sir," Winnie interrupted, "but I can't understand how any of this is my fault." Mr. Buxton glared. "Winifred!" Mr. Catherick hissed. "I care deeply for my passengers, sir," she continued. "All my passengers. I am a punctual engine, and I cannot disappoint my friends. They seem to adhere to our schedule quite easily. In fact, Winnie continued, Mr. Catherick boarded my timely train to meet with you for a scheduled repayment. But here you are, still in your housecoat. I don't understand this bank business, sir, but I do know the right way to run my trains.
I suppose my investment doesn't give me the right to change a timetable, he sighed. Let us reschedule. Same time tomorrow, Catherick?
Yes, Mr. Buxton, of course, at your convenience.
Good little engine you've got here, Catherick,
Mr. Buxton added, turning to leave.
You will be waiting for me tomorrow, won't you?
As long as you don't keep me waiting, sir, Winnie chuckled. Mr. Catherick promptly collapsed. It was lucky Mr. Jones caught him. I'm sorry, sir, if I spoke out of turn, said Winnie. I was only looking out for our other passengers. A most admirable quality, Mr. Catherick croaked, regaining composure. Oh, and I gather Walter was only doing the same. I owe him an apology, and perhaps another chance. No thank you, sir, Walter chuckled that night. I get on much better with wagons than passengers. Winnie was practically built for this sort of thing. A compliment from you? Winnie teased. Thank you, Walter. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. Perhaps I need to do more of that in future. I'll remember you said that, Walter winked slyly. From that day on, Winnie told the passengers with pride. Every morning, Mr. Buxton stood waiting on the platform. Looking very smart today, sir, Winnie would remark. And punctual, too. Mr. Buxton always gave an appreciative smile, knowing he'd get to his bank on time, thanks to Winnie's way.